I am often asked by people if the music that I create is fusion music. When my response to that is a fusion of, oh God, no, and disdain, then they feel compelled to ask me again, so then what kind of music do you do? I don't really blame them, you know. After all, my music is called the Sufi Gospel Project, so I can understand the confusion. And please don't get me wrong, I have absolutely nothing against fusion. Some of the most beautiful sounds were born out of fusion. Pandit Ravi Shankar, Zakir Hussain, and John McLaughlin are proof of that. But I feel the term fusion music is the thing that I'm a bit allergic to. That's what's thrown around. It's used when people don't quite know how to label the music. Because let's face it, we as people, we love labels and genres and tags and things that fit neatly into little boxes where they can be categorized, recognized, and easily placed. Our perception of organized religion works in much the same way. You're Hindu, I'm Sikh, he's Muslim, they're Jain, they're Christian, labels, so on and so forth. Religion, it puts you in a little box and puts a label on it. It then puts these little boxes into larger containers, groups them, and stacks them up against each other, till one pile tips over and falls, causing a domino effect of sorts, and well, we all know what happens then. All hell breaks loose. Take a second, if you may, to look at the person sitting on your right. Please just do it. Chances are you will not be able to tell where this person goes to pray. And you shouldn't be able to either. And the fact is, it shouldn't matter. Because the truth is, once you peel off the labels, we're not that different, you and I. And so 8 years ago, when this girl from the Sikh religion was asked to sing Christian gospel music at the dargah of the Sufi saint Inayat Khan, it really confounded the hell out of the label walas. I mean, I'd already confused them earlier when I'd started singing gospel music, even though I had trained in Indian classical music. In fact, one of the things I used to get asked a lot was, why does a girl who belongs to the Sikh religion sing gospel music or Christian bhajans, as they called it? So this thought of a Sikh girl being invited to sing Christian music in a seemingly Islamic space, this confounded them even more. But for me, this very thought, a Sikh girl being invited to sing Christian music in a seemingly Islamic space, this felt like the universe was telling me something, and I felt I needed to do something worthy, something befitting of this opportunity that was being granted to me. And so I thought, why not create through music a space where the lines between these religions could be blurred? After all, religion is meant to unite us in faith, yet it divides us. Why not use music to shift the focus from religion to belief? Why not use music to put forth this message of equality and, if possible, change mindsets one note at a time? Create a space where the philosophy of Sufi Saint Kabir Das can flow into the words of the gospel hymn Abide With Me, where Persian poetry written by Amir Khusro can find echoes in the devotional folk songs of Rajasthan, where Buddhist chants can seamlessly merge with Gaelic texts and the poetry of Punjabi Sufi Saint Baba Bulle Shah, where the call to Allah, the words of the Gita, and the Sikh morning prayer can flow into the words of the gospel hymn Amazing Grace. A place where many different hallelujahs, many different calls to God can exist in harmony. Sufism means an acceptance of all humanity, and gospel means the truth. And it was so interesting because when I started looking for resonances of this truth of acceptance, I found it everywhere I looked. And it wasn't just in ancient texts and poetry that I found it. I found it in contemporary songs, in the old, in the new, in the voices and thoughts of so many people across religions, in poetry, in a chant, in a couplet my mother wrote, in the bhakti tradition, in a conversation I might have had with a friend. In John Lennon's song, Imagine, to my mind, that is the finest Sufi song ever written. And you know why? It's because John Lennon talks of a world without boundaries, without borders, where everyone lives together as one. In Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, in Rumi's poetry, in Rabia's poetry, in rhythm, across the world. So yes, while the music I create may be a fusion, for lack of a better word, but I like to think of it as a fusion, a bumping and colliding, a coming together of ideologies, of thoughts from seemingly disparate cultures, times, regions, and traditions. And I say seemingly because the more I looked at our differences, the more through our differences I found our similarities. As I went through this journey of discovery through the music that I was creating with the Sufi Gospel Project, my mind opened. I found that it is important to find faith, not just in God, but in good, in the goodness of people, and in finding God within people, in taking God out of physical spaces and finding him in one's heart and in the heart of the person sitting right next to you. So the music of the Sufi Gospel Project perhaps can be called fusion, but it is a fusion of the diverse voices of religion through prayer, poetry, and the spoken word to create one unified voice. It's about freedom from definitions, distinctions, and labels that religion puts on us. It is about pausing and listening carefully, for often we are shouting so loudly in so many different tongues above one another that we don't realize we are all saying the same thing in different ways. It is about realizing that each of us has our own truth, and it doesn't matter if you find that truth in a temple, a shrine, a church, a mosque. The only thing that matters is that each truth is just as valid. And I truly believe that believing in God is about compassion for everything and everyone around us, for standing up for equality of gender, for speaking out for the voiceless, about acceptance versus tolerance. When you tolerate someone, you just put up with them. When you accept them, you embrace them and you dance with them. Faith is also about secularism. So when I've shared my music and message to support women's rights, 1 Billion Rising, cancer charities, animal rights, and even a project that I have created on partition in the hope for peace or dialogue between our two nations, it's been because I have freed my mind from looking at people through the eyes of labels. I'm reminded of something that Sufi poet, Punjabi Sufi poet Baba Bulle Shah says. It's one of my favorite poems. He says, "Chal buleya chal othe chaliye. Chal buleya chal othe chaliye jithe sare anne. Chal buleya chal othe chaliye jithe sare anne. Na koi saadi zaat pachane, te na koi sanu manne." He says, take me, my friend, to that place. I want to live in that place where everyone is blind. I want to live in that utopia where everyone is blind, because if they are blind, then they will not be able to discriminate amongst us on the basis of caste, creed, gender, or religion. Take me to that place. For that, my friend, that is where I want to live. Chal buleya chal othe chaliye jithe sare anne. Na koi saadi zaat pachane, te na koi sanu manne. That's really, in many ways, what the Sufi Gospel Project is about. And if I had to sum it up in just one sentence, it would be that religion is not God, and God has no religion. And as we move forward, I would like to share with you a song that we composed. I composed with my partner Ehsan Ali of the Sufi Gospel Project. We composed this about using your strongest weapon, each person's strongest weapon, to speak out for equality, to speak out against injustice, to use your voice for change. It is based on the poetry of Pakistani poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz. Faiz Sahab says, "Bol ke lab azad hain tere, bol zaban ab tak teri hai, tera sutwa ye jism hai tera, bol ke jaan ab tak teri hai." Speak out, because your lips, they are still free. Speak out, because your tongue, it is your own. This body is your own. Speak out, because this life is your own. Bol ke lab आजाद हैं तेरे। बोल के लम आजाद हैं तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है, तेरा सुतवा जिस्म है तेरा, बोल के जा अब तक तेरी है, बोल के लम आजाद हैं तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है, तेरा सतवा जिस्म है तेरा, बोल के जा अब तक तेरी है, देख के आहंगर की दुकान में धुंध है शोले सुर्ख है आहन, खुलने लगे कुफलों के दहाने, फैला हर एक जंजीर का दामन, बोल के लब आजाद है तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है, एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम। बोलिए थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है, जिस्मो ज़बान की मौत से पहले, बोल के सच जिंदा है अब तक बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले, बोल ये थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है, जिस्मो ज़बान की मौत से पहले। बोल के सच जिंदा है अब तक, बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले, बोल के